Okay, this is your algebra notes for 11.5. This part is about two-way frequency tables. So a lot of times we've seen the EOC at the end of the year have questions on it about two-way frequency tables. So they're very similar to just regular frequency tables that we learned back a couple of lessons ago. But instead of only one-way frequency table, they're comparing two things. And a lot of times those two things are important to look at going down the columns, but also it's important to look at those two different things going horizontally across the rows. So let's take a look at this table and let me read to you about it. The table at the right gives information about ticket sales for two different movies. So that's why it's a two-way table. The table also separates those tickets into ticket purchases by men and ticket purchases by women. Okay, of the 103 total tickets sold for Story of Love. So they're saying that Story of Love's total is 103. I'm going to go ahead and write 103 down here. A lot of times it's really smart to go ahead and total your columns and actually to total your rows, because in two-way frequency tables, a lot of times it asks you about percentages or ratios. And if you don't know your totals, you're not going to be able to do that. So let's write our totals here. In fact, we can go ahead and do the totals of this too. So 12 plus 86 is 98. So 103 people saw Story of Love. Some were men, some were women. Martial Arts Champ, 12 men, 86 women saw it, for a total of 98 people who saw Martial Arts Champ. Also, I'm going to go ahead and add these to get my total in the row. 78 men plus 12 men is a total of 90 men who went to movies. And then 25 plus 86 women is, I think, 111 total women that went to the movies. So now that we have the totals going down and going across, let's see what we need to do. Of the 103 tickets sold for Story of Love, 78, which is 75.7% of them, were sold to men. Of the 90 total men, which we already found out how many total men, of the 90 total men who purchased tickets, 78 of them, or 86.7%, purchased a ticket to Story of Love. So they calculated the percent going across and going down as far as men. All right, you are going to have to calculate the both ratio and percent. So I will review with you how to do the ratio and how to do the percent for each of the following 5 questions. So let's take a look. Men who purchased tickets to Martial Arts Champ to all men. So to find a ratio, you need something compared to something else. So our first one is just men who purchased tickets to Martial Arts Champ, and we're comparing it to all men. So we need a number that represents this over a number that represents all men. So men who purchased tickets to Martial Arts Champ was 12. All men, if you look at men, all men was 90. So it's 12 out of 90. So our answer, I don't really have any room. I'm going to have to write really tiny here. 12 out of 90 is our ratio. A lot of times whenever you're writing a ratio, it makes you simplify it. So if 12/90ths simplify, you can push 12 ABC button if you have it, 90, and that will simplify the fraction for you, which is 2/15. So I'm going to simplify that to 2/15. That's our ratio. And then it wants to know the percent. A percent is just, you have to divide, you have to take your fraction and make it a division problem. 2 divided by 15 or 12 divided by 90, you'll get the same answer either way. So if I do 12 divided by 90, that's going to give me a decimal. And all I do to take my decimal and change it to a percent is move the decimal 2 places to the right. So it's 13 we'll call it about 3%. So 13.3%. So 13.3%. Okay, so our two answers, our ratio is 2/15 and our percent is 13.3%. All right, let's look at the next one. Men who purchased tickets to Martial Arts Champ, we know that's 12. Out of all who purchased tickets to Martial Arts Champ. So here's Martial Arts Champ, all the total is 98. So this time we're taking 12 out of 98. Okay, I bet that simplifies. Let's put that in our calculator. 12 ABC 98. That is 6/49. I'm not sure if it makes you simplify. Like when you're doing homework over this, you might just be able to put in 12/98, but I've seen it before where they make you simplify it. So you might as well know how to do that. And then 6/49 is the ratio, and the percent is whatever 6 divided by 49 is. Well, it's a decimal, and then we move the decimal 2 places to the right, about 12.2%. So about 12.2%. All right, number 3, women who purchase tickets to martial arts champ. So women who purchase tickets to martial arts champ, women, is 86. Have a little bit more room in this one. Out of all who purchased tickets to martial arts champ. So again, all who purchased was 98. So 86 out of 98 is the fraction. 86 out of 98 is 43/49. So the ratio is 43/49. And that percent would be 87 point, I would say 7, but that 5 is going to bump it up to an 8 if you're rounding correctly. This would be 87.8%. So we'll say 87.8%. All right, what about women who purchase tickets to Story of Love? Women, Story of Love, let's see where they meet, at the 25. So that's 25 out of all who purchased tickets to Story of Love. So all who purchased tickets to Story of Love is 103. So 25 out of 103. I don't think that simplifies, but we can always double check. No. So 25 out of 103. And let's see what that percent is. 25 divided by 103 is 24.3. That 7 bumps the 2 up to a 3. So 24.3%. Okay, and then the last one, which movie is more popular with women? Which one is more popular with men? So obviously with women are 25 and 86. So clearly martial arts champ is more popular with women. So with women, martial arts champ. And then with men, here's men, 78 and 12. So 78 is clearly more popular with Story of Love. Story of Love. Okay. If you feel pretty comfortable doing two-way frequency tables, go ahead and pause the video and answer 6 through 10. Try that. Well, 10 is a little tricky. You might want to do that one with me, but at least answer 6 through 9 on your own on activity 2, and then check the video and make sure you've got the right answers, the same answers I did. Okay, if you are ready to check, the first thing I would do is come over here and total. And it looks like all these total 100. So we're supporting a bond issue. Oh, I think it's, okay, I should have read this first. Citizens are preparing to vote for a bond issue. Public library, the table records records. Okay, so this is going to be voter support. So that's probably why this one all totals 100. It'll be easier for us to calculate out of 100. But let's also go ahead and calculate how many support and how many oppose. Sometimes we use these numbers too. So 79 plus 55 plus 33 is a total of 167 who support the bond. 21 plus 45 plus 67 oppose the bond, and that is a total of 133. Okay. So now that you have your totals, we will be able to use those to answer some of these questions. So for each of the following, calculate both the ratio and the percent. So again, same thing we did above, ratio and percent in relation to this. So the first one is people between ages 18 and 25 who support, wait, what's my other thing? For each of the following, calculate the ratio and percent. Oh, in relation to all the people within that given age group. So I should have read that. So we're comparing everything they say here to all the people within the 18 to 25 or 26 to 24 or 65 and older age group that they're talking about. So the people in 18 to 25 who support out of the people 18 to 25 total. So 18 to 25 who support is 79. Out of 18 to 25 total people is 100. So 79 out of 100. So the ratio is 79 out of 100, and that percent would be 79%. All percents that are out of, or all ratios that are out of 100, just transfer to that percent. 79 out of 100, 79%. So this one will be a little quicker for us. The people 26 to 64 who support. Ages 26 to 64 who support is 45. Out of the total in that group is 100. So 55 out of 100. I'm sure this would simplify as well, but we already know that's going to be 55%. So it's okay. If you simplified it, it would probably be like 11/20ths or something. Okay, the people 65 or older who oppose. So 65 or older who oppose is 67 out of 100. So 67 out of 100 would be 67%. All right, the people between 26 to 64 who oppose. So 26 to 64 age group who oppose is 45 out of the total group is 100. So 45 out of 100, again, that would probably simplify to something like 9/20ths or something, and it's going to be 45%. Okay, here's our last question. It's a little bit of a challenge question, but not really, because they actually give us an equation that we're going to use. So this won't be too hard. An expert predicts that 10% of voters between 18 and 25, 40% will be between the ages of 26 and 64, and 50% will be 65 or older. So based on that information, she can calculate the election from the expression 0.1a plus 0.4, this is because it's 10%, 40%, and 50% of voters that come from A, B, and C all added together, where A is going to be, and B, A, B, and C are all going to be the decimal forms of our ratio of people supporting. We can take that information and predict the percent of votes that would be in favor, because that would be supporting the bond issue. So all we're going to do is rewrite this formula, and instead of A, we are going to put the decimal form of the people who support it in that group. Instead of B, we're going to put the decimal form of the people who support it from the middle group, and then C, we're going to make the decimal form of the people who support it in this group. So here we go. 0.1 times 79% would be 0.79, plus 0.4b was 55, so 0.55, plus 0.5c was 33, so 0.33. So when you multiply those, you get 0.079. When you multiply these, you get 0.22. And when you multiply these, you get 0.165. If you add all those together, check it on your calculator, I got 0.464. And if you change that into a percent, it would be 46.4% of voters in favor.